Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I welcome you to the exceptional conservative show live from the nation's capital. We're not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First the Republican and then the Socialist. Yours truly, ladies and gentlemen, at the helm. Mrs. Biggs is watching us via Ustream and live stream. We're waiting for none other than the great Mary Brockman, my bouncer, to show in the hizzy. Claudia is already in the house. Dave Milner is in the hizzy. We're off to a very big night. Celeste Claverie, forgive me, will be joining us from New Orleans. Blogger at Ladies of the Last Civil Rights and president and founder of Save My Babies. Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much. With us tonight, Mary Brockman. Smooches! Smooches, gracias! Glad to have you here. Mary Brockman is my bouncer. If you kiss her, you kiss me, you will be. Whoop, dismissed. Big night. Also, Sir Mark, the Bloviating Zeppelin, will be joining us in the next hour. And we will be talking about those courageous leftists. Hardly. Tearing up everything because they couldn't get their way. Where? Get over it. And stay away from my car. Big news, all the stuff we can talk about tonight. Danny Butcher is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan the Man Butcher is in the hizzy. Dan the Man, holding down the fort of High Plains Pundit Media. HP Pundit it is. Well, actually, Jane does the work. I'm just saying. Nah, Dan's the man. He does an excellent job. 2.2 million people watched us thanks to Dan the Man Butcher on election night. And that's saying something. That's saying something indeed. Coming up, I want to talk with you tonight about sanctuary cities, including the District of Columbia, and really what I would like for you to do with those sanctuary cities. Also, we'll talk with you about economics, simple economics, ladies and gentlemen, and how those on the left hope that you never learn the simplicity of economics. Really is. It's a really simple thing. It has a lot of formulas and stuff that you have to, pass in the examinations, but the principles are very, very simple. We'll talk about that tonight. But one of the most devastating things that happened this weekend. And that's why I have Celeste Claverie with us tonight. She sent me don't be nervous. She's nervous. Don't be nervous. To see a little boy treated the way he was by his mom motivated me to write something, but it was thanks to Celeste for sending it to me. And I want her to talk with us tonight about child abuse and about that particular incident when we come back from the Pledge of Allegiance, which I wish you would take off your hats right now. Put your right hand over your heart. And for those who are following along at home, ladies and gentlemen, we have the game show version so that you will be able to read it. There are flags for those who are following. There's a big flag behind us. that you can pledge allegiance to, and smaller ones to this side for those who are following along at home. But I want you all to pledge allegiance tonight. This is a big night. I want the kids to lead us. Take it away, kids.
Shake your parents. Ready, begin. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for
It is so wonderful. I just don't think people really understand exactly how wonderful it is to have children in your life. And I want to play for you. We will be bringing on Celeste Claverie. In fact, let's just go ahead and let's do that now. Let's call the on the old wiki deaky thing here. For those who are following along at home. Young man down in Texas, Fresno, Texas, decided that he was going to vote for Donald Trump in his school mock election. Little did he know that he would be the star of a video seen by over 20 million people. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to some and present to others a young woman who has fought the good fight for children around the country, and as well as a blogger with Ladies of the Last Civil Right, Celeste Claverie. It's a great honor and privilege to have you on the air with us tonight.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm honored that you asked me to participate in the show today.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. And Celeste is not only just a very vivacious and beautiful woman, but a brilliant woman and a icon when it comes to keeping people abreast of issues, especially dealing with young people. And it was about 9 o'clock on Friday morning that Celeste sent me this particular video, a video which scarred the people who watched it as much as it must have scarred a little boy. And so what I want to do at this particular point is I want to play that video for you all. I'm going to ask that you do me a great favor. If you have children around you at this moment, would you do me the greatest favor, take them to another room so that they don't have to hear this, or be very mindful that they are young people and should not necessarily hear this. But this little boy was scarred, and over 20 million people have watched the scarring by his mother. I give you a few more moments. Celeste, can you tell everybody what your organization is about while we give people the opportunity to take their kids out of the room?
Well, thank you very much. Basically, Save My Babies is an organization that was brought by an utterance from the Lord in May of 2013, and I've been in the research stages of what it means to do the saving and to develop partnerships, making sure that I have adequate people in place to be able to take the babies once we save them from the ravages of abortion. Wow. But also for those who would like to adopt and who do not have any other means of getting to children, of seeing children. And also at some point there will be some governmental aspect of this because as I go along with my research, the vision continues to expand. There will be some governmental legwork needed to be done because the adoption and the CPS systems are so horribly corrupt that the people who really, really do want to adopt these children cannot because the cost is burdensome and the red tape, although there needs to be some bureaucracy in there and some hoops to go through to make sure that we're placing these children with loving families. It's too much for a lot of the families who cannot afford to continue to go over and go over and go over through these hoops, unnecessary things. So
Now,
that's part and parcel.
now I want you to define for everyone, because a lot of people think that just showing up and filling out paperwork to get your $700 a month to take care of a baby is what it's all about. Would you define for the American people what a real American family is all about?
A real American family, and the idea of the family as a whole, not just American, but we've seen it throughout the centuries, embodied in the most successful families, are the father and the mother who are married to one another, who have children by one another in the home. There are no outside children. There are no extraneous children from previous relationships. And that's the way God intended it. Mm-hmm. Does it happen that way all the time? No, it does not, unfortunately, because we have free will.
Yes.
And we sin. So, but the basic pattern, the original diagram, the original engineering was for the mother, father, husband, wife, and the child or children.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank publicly Celeste for her advocacy, because at 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday, I got this particular video, and it had already been seen by almost 300,000 people. And I told Celeste, watch out, we're going to make this happen. And by the end of the day, 15 million people had seen it. By the end of the weekend, it had been reported from as far away as India, all the way to Washington, D.C. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to play this video for you. It is blood curdling. I'm just warning you. I hope that you've had enough time to take your children out of the way. And then I want to talk with Celeste about what child abuse really is.
Since you voted for Donald Trump, you can get your shit and get out. The suitcase is packed by the door. Yeah, been packed it since this morning. Bye. Matter of fact, and get your sign so when the people see you outside, they know why you're standing out there. Here you go. Now, here, take your sign. Get up. Come on here. Come on. Come on here. Let's go. Come on. Take your sign. Bye. Let's go. You want to vote for him? I'm going to show you. Come on. Okay. Let's go. Here's your suitcase. Bye. Get your suitcase. No. Edward, get your suitcase and get out. Bye. No. Go. No. We don't do Donald Trump here. Get your suitcase. Okay. Get out. Get out. Here you go. Bye. Bye. Bye, Donald Trump lover.
I got school tomorrow.
You got school tomorrow. You should have thought about that. Bye. This where you gonna be at from now on. Yes. Why did you vote for him at school? Why did you vote for him at school? Why did you vote for him at school?
No, because he keep me alive.
Because you see him on TV a lot.
Yeah.
Boy, bye. Anyways, yep, you see him on TV. Well, I hope you find another TV to see him on, because this is going to be your new home. You can't come back here. Bye. No. He voted for Donald Trump. No. Bye. Bye. You can go be with the Donald Trump lover. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, she left that preteen boy outside on the street in the night because he chose to vote for Donald Trump, and even left her little one, had to be no more than a toddler himself, out there with him. Celeste, can you give me your thoughts when you first saw this video?
I cried. I didn't cry. I didn't just cry from sadness. I cried from anger because I don't understand any parent who would do that to their child. Not a child. I could see maybe a teenager who is just in complete rebellion and will not adhere to any of the house rules, but not a child. Not a child. It just completely infuriated me. And it is really a good thing that you cannot reach through the computer screen.
Oh my, really. Glory be to God. Oh, oh,
oh. It really is. I don't consider myself a violent person. Or if ever I've had an inclination to be a violent person or to exhibit any violence of any sort, it was in extreme circumstances. So, you know.
Celeste, I want to thank you so much for sending that to me on Friday morning, because it lifted my spirit in such a fashion where I became more adversarial in the midst of the calm. That there, first and foremost, on the Facebook site, it's Michelle Obama for 2020. So someone thought that this was the perfect spot to put this victim of child abuse on the Michelle Obama for 2020 Facebook site. Does this happen in Black America because your child happens to be conservative or likes people like Donald Trump? I just want to. Does this happen?
Not somebody that I know. At least I better not find out. To anyone that I know. I think what the original poster was hoping for, that there would be some activism from the Obama camp. I don't know if there was any. I didn't even think to follow up on that end. My only thought was to spread it as far and as wide and as often as I could, and encourage others to do the same, which it really didn't require much of a push to get anyone to share it with anyone, because regardless of their political stripe, the religious stripe, or if they even have one, people were just completely appalled at the exhibition of cruelty towards their own child. But and I think you mentioned this, even in his complete and abject fear of being turned out of his home, he was still very respectful of his mother. He honored her when she said get out. He protested a little bit, but he didn't get ugly with it, as I see some 5-year-olds get nowadays. And he still honored the word of his mother, even though she was completely wrong. And he got out. He took his little suitcase like a little man, and he but he cried all the way out the door. And those kinds of things, those kinds of parents, I just don't understand the motivation behind that. I don't. Not using your own child or anybody's child. I don't understand the motivation behind that.
Now she says, the detectives state that she referred to this as just a practical joke. She was just joshing. She was just having a little fun with her little boys. And we're talking tonight with Celeste Claverie, who is a wonderful writer and blogger for Ladies of the Last Civil Rights. She's also president and founder of Save My Babies. But I want to get your response to a mother, and I know that you are a mother and a fine one. But
thank you.
How is that? For me as a father, I feel very aggravated at this point and agitated, almost to violence. And thank God, yeah, she isn't around any of us at this point, because she would have been disciplined the way she should have been disciplined accordingly. And of course, she is under investigation right now by the Fresno, Texas police, and well, sheriff's office, and also by the Fresno, Texas Child Protection Services Division. Um, but I have to. How does that sound to you? Is that a joke?
No, it's not a joke at all. I said just a few moments ago that I don't understand the motivation, and I really don't understand that mindset. I should have said mindset.
Yeah.
But I believe the motivation may have been to just put herself out there in Facebook land, in cyberspace. Oh, look what I'm doing, look what I'm doing. But regardless of what her motivation was, it was just completely wrong. I read one news story that said that the detective stated that there does not appear to have been any abuse, and that the children, because there's more than those two little ones in the household, that those children don't appear to be in an abusive situation.
Mm-hmm.
So she has that going for her. But according to the Children's Advocacy Center for Statistics and Highlights from 2014, there are over 315,000 children that are served by this advocacy center, and approximately 116,940 children from ages 0 to 6 years old. 115,959 children from 7 to 12 years old. 81,025 children from 13 to 18 years. 205,138 children reported sexual abuse.
Wow.
60,897 children reported physical abuse. 211,831 children participated in on-site forensic interviewing at a children's advocacy center, and among them, over 244,000 alleged offenders investigated for instances of child abuse in 2014, and some starting statistics, include 154,529 were 18 plus years of age. 26,000, these are the offenders. 26,294 were ages 13 to 17 years. 20,040 were under age 13 years. 95,913 were a parent or step-parent of the victim. 127,358 were related or known to the child victim in another way. And 23,696 were an unrelated person to the victim knew. So it's regardless of whether your child knows the offender or not, it is imperative that the parent, if the parent is not the offender, but it is imperative that the parent or the caretaker believe the child, especially if they know the child is not one that makes things up. And I've often said, as my observations have been over my entire life, even as a child, that the children who act out the most in ways to get attention, even if the ways that they have to garner attention are through bad behavior or aggravating somebody else, something's usually going on, and they don't know how else to ask for help. So these kids that are acting out in school, that are doing things that you know they should not be doing, and they know they shouldn't be doing, that's an opportunity to take a closer look.
We're talking
the ones that everybody rolls their eyes at. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, that's Ray Ray. Oh my God, I don't know what we gonna do with that boy. Check and find out what's going on with Ray Ray. Check and find out what's going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking tonight about an issue that doesn't show up in the political highlights. You're not going to get people yelling, jumping, and screaming and shouting that Donald Trump is this or Hillary Clinton is that on this particular issue. It's the issue of the abuse of a child. What is more nauseating than anything else on this particular subject is that the abuse or the hatred from the mother, which she has deciphered to be merely a gesture of humor, yay Whoopi Goldberg, uh, she she presents the addressment to a young boy who chose a political figure in an imaginary mock election at school because he liked to see the guy on TV. And for her, what she did was project the offense in the black community of being a Republican, a conservative, or voting for Donald Trump onto that little boy, both her little boys in this particular case. And it was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Yes, Celeste.
It amazed me that with such ease, she basically stripped him of his dignity.
Oh.
You know, and at such a young, he's never going to forget that. And he's never going to forget that it was his mother that did that. He's never going to forget that his humiliation was spread across the world in cyberspace. But I pray to God, my prayer has been that that baby knows. That that baby knows the rest of us showed up for him. He and his little brother, the rest of us showed up. Showed up and stood up for him when his mother would not. It's not that she could not, she would not. That the rest of us did. And that I saw so many posts on Facebook, on Twitter, and various other places, and people whom I know who have worked with the CPS system in various states even, and who have dealt with the adoption industry, because it is an industry, it's not a vocation anymore, it's an industry, who they have said, I have people right now ready to take those children, who would love to have those children.
I'm one of those people. I've always wanted to have a son. And that young man, oh my God, the honor that he displayed to his mother in the midst of the duress that he was being subjugated to, it was enviable. He loved his mother and was going to do whatever his mother said, and the mother put him in harm's way. When you think of a mama bear, you think of a mama bear that would run 5 miles to protect her cubs from anybody. And this woman treated him as he was merely a jackal amongst the lions. I mean, just not what imagery of a woman and a mother will he possibly have, Celeste?
One that is not very favorable, and I pray that he gets some remediation, some counseling, and I pray that she does as well, the entire family unit, so that his impression of black women is not so horribly skewed that he will not appreciate us.
Wow.
Or women in general, period, but because his mother is black, you know, that's going to be his first impression, and the model upon which he will build or look for in the woman that he marries, or not, depending on whether or not he gets any counseling or help or healing. So, you know, it's that deep, and I pray that he does not grow up to hate her. I pray that he does not. But when he really realizes, when he has some cognition, and he's older, when he's able to process this, when he has children of his own, God bless him, when he has children of his own, I pray that he has already forgiven his mother, so that he does not lash out upon her or to her. I pray that he has already forgiven her when he gets to that stage in his life.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the great honor tonight of speaking with a very powerful woman of God, as Dave Milner, the unpleasant blind guy, puts it in the chat roll. Celeste Claverie. She's a blogger at Ladies of the Last Civil Right and president and founder of Save My Babies, New Orleans, Louisiana. She was one of the original advocates who sent that video out to the world. She sent it to me at 9 o'clock on Friday morning. And I made a commitment to her in prophecy that 10 million people will see it by the end of the day. By the end of the day, 15 million people had seen it.
Indeed, you did. Yes, you did.
My commitment was to make certain that that child got the help that he needed, the intervention that he needed. But you revealed numbers earlier that frustrate the heart. The younger you are, the more likely you are to be abused. And you're more likely to be abused by somebody who says they love you.
Very much so. It's not just stranger danger anymore. It's always, but not always, excuse me. It's often, and far too often, it's Uncle Joe, who's not really a relative, or it could be very much so Uncle Joe, or Auntie Nellie, or somebody like that, or your cousin Boo Boo, somebody like that.
Yeah.
So that there's a familiarity, there's a trust on it that's innately built in there, and they violate that trust in the absolute worst way, and dare you not to say anything, because but if you tell that I bash your head up against the wall, or I tried to break your arm, or I tried to feel in your pants or up your skirt or whatever, that if you tell, then I'm going to kill your parents. They're never going to believe you. And these children, they believe it because this is a person in authority. Why wouldn't they believe them?
Wow.
This is a person who, prior to this engagement, this sordid, perverted engagement, they had seen probably nothing but love from them. So why should I not believe them?
I want to give you a statement, and I thank you so much. I'm going to have you come back because I do want to talk with you in the next few weeks about the Trump agenda regarding Planned Parenthood and abortion. But this seems to have been, hearing it again made my blood curl.
Yes.
And I couldn't even look at it. I had to turn around. I couldn't watch that. There was a neighbor across the street. In the video, you'll hear the neighbor call out. But when the police went around to ask the neighbors if they'd seen or heard anything, all of them said no. What is even worse about this is that when I put this video out on Facebook Chalkboard Conversations page, and people can read it in the editorial that I've written as proof, I copied and pasted. You can take it for the grain of salt. There was a teacher who was an educator at Harlem Children's Zone, of course, in Harlem, New York. The school that was created by Jeffrey, forgive me, what is his name? Jeffrey Canada, that's his name. To take poor, victimized children out of their impoverished backgrounds, put them in a charter school environment so that they might learn, accomplish, and achieve and have a future. She studied at Virginia State University. Do you know that educator, and I won't say her name here, you can read it in the editorial, that educator put 6 huge laugh emoticons out there. She found joy and pleasure, an educator of the most impoverished, at-risk youth. She found joy and pleasure in seeing that boy get victimized. Does that take place in our schools where teachers are saying, hey, you know what? Hey, he'll get over it. I'm feeling you right now.
That, dear brother, is an excellent question family and have them come up to his Shekinah Ranch and have them stay there for a few weeks and do some rehabilitative and transformative work for those babies and also for the parents, and let them know that there's a better way. There's an absolute better way. Founded in Christ, rooted in Christ, covered by the blood. There's a better way.
Indeed. Now, I speak with you on this because you are a champion for young people, for children. And a lot of people believe that child abuse is when daddy come home on Friday night after 6 or 7 beers at the local pub, comes home and beats the child. That's child abuse. Nothing else could be child abuse. Is child abuse limited to just that?
Oh, absolutely not. Abuse of any kind always begins with an abusive word.
Wow.
Always. Be it calling out of your name or being spoken to in a harsh manner for no reason, or even in the correction or an infraction that you did of the house rules, it being unloving. Because you can correct your child. You can correct a child, even if even if he or she is not your own child. But doing it without the rooting and the foundation of love is what, again, strips that child of their dignity, and they're still forming, depending on how old that child is, they're still forming their personality and beginning to get to the place of asking, well, who am I? So it's incumbent upon everybody who knows any child, that if you see something is not right, say something. Abusers only get away with it, and they only continue to abuse and offend because they know that there are folks who will see nothing, who will see much and say nothing. To see something and then say, well, that's none of my business. I ain't saying nothing. I'm going on about my business. That is an abuse of the child, because you're leaving them in a harmful situation. You know, if more abusers knew that they would be caught and held accountable, I doubt that we would have as many as we do. I'm not going to say we wouldn't have them. I'm saying we probably would not have as many.
Exactly.
And also on the flip side of that, with abusers, more than 90% of the time, they themselves have been abused, and they don't know how to cope with it.
Yes.
Regardless of the type of abuse, be it physical, emotional, verbal, or sexual, they themselves have been, or all of that, and they themselves have been abused, and they have never known to seek healing, or that opportunity was never afforded to them. So.
Celeste, you will be back on our program, and we truly love the work that you do, not only for all the beautiful women that happen to be part of the ladies of the last civil rights. It's amazing how all of y'all are beautiful. You know that, right? It's just amazing.
Oh, to God be the
glory. She's also president and founder of Save My Babies down in New Orleans, Louisiana. How can people get in contact with you, Celeste?
I'm on Facebook. My ID is Celeste.Claverie. I'm on Twitter at Creole Right Girl. And let me see. But right now, those are the only two. Until I am fully set up, I won't set up anything to Save My Babies, because I know once I set that up, things are going to come in and my infrastructure is not completely set.
Exactly. So. But you are a warrior for Christ, for children, and we thank God for the work that you do and for setting up Melanie with a big question on Wednesday night.
I expect a call from her tonight.
I would tell y'all right now, I would be afraid of the teacher, okay, that ran past Melanie who pulled that stunt on Facebook, okay? Melanie will let you have it.
Oh my goodness. Indeed, indeed.
God bless you, Celeste. We look forward to you coming back on the Exceptional Conservative Show at another date and time.
Thank you so much, beloved. It has been a joy. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the wonderful, the beautiful Celeste Claverie. And can you feel the emotions? Okay? Can you and it wasn't just a female, no. I felt that. Okay? If you're human, you have to feel that. What am I talking about feeling? We're going to go to a break right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is the little boy in Fresno, Texas, who was abused by his mother, the one who brought him into the earth, the one who carried him 9 months, the one who took him to school for the first day. This is what a mother does when she's playing a joke.
Since you voted for Donald Trump, you can get your shit and get out. The suitcase is packed by the door. Yeah, been packed it since this morning. Bye. Matter of fact, and get your sign so when the people see you outside, they know why you're standing out there. Here you go. Now, here, take your sign. Yeah. Come on here. Come on. Everyone, come on here. Let's go. Come on. Take your sign. Let's go. You want to vote for him? I'm going to show you. Come on. Okay. Let's go. Here's your suitcase. Bye. Get your suitcase. Edward, get your suitcase and get out. Bye. Go. We don't do Donald Trump here. Get your suitcase. Get out. Get out. Here you go. Bye. Bye. Bye, Donald Trump lover. I got school tomorrow. You got school tomorrow. You should have thought about that. Okay. Bye. This where you gonna be at from now on. Yes. Why did you vote for him at school? Why did you vote for him at school? Why did you vote for him at school? Because you see him on TV a lot. Yeah. Boy, bye. Anyways, yep, you see him on TV. Well, I hope you find another TV to see him on, because this is going to be your new home. You can't come back here. Bye. No. He voted for Donald Trump. No. Bye. Bye. You can go be with the Donald Trump lover. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen who've been listening from Red Nation Rising, 2 a.m. on the Liberty Channel, also High Plains Pundit Media Live and SHR Media Live. I thank you all. I also thank the almost 18 million people who held her accountable for her actions. I pray that we can all do that with every abuser of children. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Have you heard the news? There's more to Prime than free 2-day shipping on shoes. There are tons of movies ready to stream. It's like living in a film lover's dream. More to Prime. More to Prime.
I want to join. How much should I pay?
You can sign up for a free trial today. So let's sing it one more time. There's more to Prime.
The best late night conservative talk show in America, TECS Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, TECS Radio.
Heart dude. Heart dude.
Radio.
Heart dude. Heart dude.
Radio.
Sack.
The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming up in the second half of our program, Sir Mark, the Bloviating Zeppelin. Stay tuned for more of the best in urban conservative talk.
Yesterday, you went on the air. We're talking about your fake Prada sunglasses. Yes. Scary called me in a panic last night. I went on the air, and I called them fake. They're not fake. They're real. We're going to get sued.
Really? They're real?
Yeah, and he gave... What's the name of the company you ordered them from?
I bought it from a company called EZ. That's the letter E, the letter Z, Contacts USA.
So he goes on the air yesterday and says, EZ Contacts, they're a scam. Ignore them.
No research, nothing.
Yeah, didn't look into. I'm like, you're being a little reckless.
Yeah.
You know, even though they, I don't know if those are real Prada glasses or not. But he went on the air and said that anyway.
The opposite of 60 Minutes, Scary Jones.
Yeah. We don't know. We didn't investigate. I'm sure they're a scam.
Well, I got them for $150 lower than you could normally find them.
Are they a scam?
They're not. I looked into it. I researched it in full. I am holding legit, real Prada sunglasses.
Wow.
So
Really?
I'd like to issue an apology. I just want to say,
Of course, he got a call from the company.
from the owner, yeah.
They had lost orders yesterday because of what Scary said.
Scary.
They should make you pay what they lost yesterday. How much was that total?
I don't even know. but at the end of the day, it's like it's almost one of those too good to be true things. Yeah, it is true.
So you did your research on this?
I did my research. I did my homework. At the end of the day, EZ Contacts USA, they actually sell real, legitimate stuff. You have to
At great prices.
At great prices.
Can you imagine last night, I'm getting ready to eat dinner, I get a phone call from Scary. He's like, hey, you got 2 minutes?
Yeah,
I'm
I got
like,
the same call.
I'm like, okay.
Was it 2 minutes?
25 minutes later, I'm like, all right, Scary, that sounds great, man.
They're legit.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I'll let you go. I'll talk to you tomorrow. That's unbelievable.
Everything worked out.
All right, thank you, Scary. So Scary...
It could have been last season's. You know, sometimes they do that. Absolutely. Whatever.
Scary accused them of the company of being a fraud, and they're not. And that was very reckless of Scary.
It really was.
Yes, Froggy.
Scary's going to turn this around at some point before it's over. He'll go, I was doing them a favor. See, at first I said it wasn't real. Now it is real. More people are going to buy from them.
I did the homework, boss. They're real.
At the end of the day, if you want to
Thank you,
design
Scary.
your eyewear,
Yeah, here we go.
Scary, if you give the name of the company one more time, I swear to God, you're fired.
You're going to kick me in the
I'm going to kick you in the balls. But, you know, and I'm glad the owner did hear you. They do listen.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they heard you and they corrected you, because that's very reckless to go on there and say someone's a fraud.
But I'm excited to find out that you can get really cheap sunglasses.
Yeah,
that
no,
look
me
really
too.
nice.
What's that website again?
I don't want you to kick me in the
Okay,
balls.
Scary, one more time.
It's the letter
I mean, if you do it anymore, we're going to have to send them a bill.
the letter E, the letter Z, Contacts USA.
Okay.
.com.
Okay, thank
How's it going? I'm Julian Klenda. This is my son, Anthony Klenda. I'm the owner of Maine Lobster now. I grew up in the lobster industry. I worked with my father for almost 15 years. My father's company, Klenda Seafood, distributes lobster products to different restaurants and stores locally. I have relatives scattered all over the United States, and they always wanted Maine lobster, but couldn't always make the trip to Maine. So when I was in college, I developed my business plan to distribute lobsters nationwide. I developed an easy-to-use website to simplify the ordering process, to help people out and answer common questions. I've also negotiated shipping rates with different carriers so I can offer a reasonable shipping rate to my customers. We work closely with local businesses, including the Lobster Shack in Two Lights, located in Cape Elizabeth, Maine, Black Point Inn, located on Proud's Neck, in Scarborough, Maine, and the Residence Inn Marriott, located in downtown Portland. At Maine Lobster Now, we exert humane delivery practices to ensure comfortable transit for your lobster. My goal is to deliver the healthiest Maine lobster to your door.
Audio Jungle.
Hey, it's Jersey Joe from Reaver Common Sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on shrmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, shrmedia.com.
You know, the great thing about Jersey Joe is that you can hear him also at noon every single day of the week on SHR Media. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then the socialists. What a moving first hour this has been. And of course, in the last quarter of our program, I will read portions of Cultural Inhumanity. The absolute rule of state requires the abuse of man, woman, and child. And there are individuals who are a little bit more dignified than I am. Many people might see me as precocious, even an individual who is itinerantly causing ill wind to be blown. But I am not afraid. I will tell you that was brainwashing, ladies and gentlemen. It has nothing to do, well, it has something to do in the sense that it was child abuse, but there's a brand of it. And it happens every single day in our urban American culture, which is united behind the principles and fallacies of those who are on the left, those who are progressive. And like in Washington, D.C., where 95% of the persons are registered as Democrats virtually, or 90%, and the other 5% are independent, and the other 5% are something else. It doesn't matter, whatever. But the bottom line is that jobs are given because you are obedient to the will of those who are in power. And those who happen to be in power, the majority of them are Democrats. So you are virtually told in this, and some people in California understand what I'm talking about. You know, some people in Oregon understand what I'm talking about. Some people in Washington State know what I'm talking about. Where a place is so Democrat bound that it becomes almost militaristic, where you virtually, like the Trojans, will kill your baby if they don't meet your standard under your political rule. And so you are groomed and crafted from birth to vote D. D's got to be behind your name in order to vote. If you don't see a D behind the name, you don't vote for it. It is an offense to your blackness to vote with an R, or to be a conservative, or to have Christian leanings. It's okay to go to church, just don't be a Christian. Yeah, I said it, and I'm not afraid to tell you. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you were watching was brainwashing, or brainwashing. whichever way you wish to say it, and it happens too often in urban America. We'll be back with the second half of the Exceptional Conservative Show. Thank you all for watching via Ustream, live stream, listening via High Plains Pundit Media, also SHR Live, and also for those, thank you for listening to me on Red Nation Rising. We'll be right back.
Even when I'm busy in the kitchen, it's important to me that the special people in my life know how much I care. I choose edible blooms because it's the perfect choice. Traditional flowers and chocolate all wrapped up in one. Edible blooms are made fresh daily using the very best seasonal produce and Belgian chocolate, all crafted by hand and delivered Australia-wide. Edible Blooms has the perfect gift for any occasion. edibleblooms.com.au.
So what do you think about ebooks? Maybe you've never read an ebook before, but you're considering giving it a try. Or maybe you've been reluctant to try ebooks because you don't want to buy another expensive electronic device. Or maybe you already enjoy ebooks, but you haven't been able to find titles from your favorite Christian authors. Whatever your situation, ChristianBook.com has the solution. Your trusted source for print books for over 30 years now offers ebooks. Our always free CBD reader allows you to read on the devices you already own without spending money on a new device. Thousands of Christian ebooks at ChristianBook.com means you can shop with confidence and choose from the titles you want. Plus, we are adding new titles all the time. Browse our huge selection of low-priced Christian ebooks the same way you would printed books. Only now you can go from shopping to reading in seconds. Simply select the ebook you wish to purchase, confirm your account information, and start reading. Free samples of every ebook are available, so you can preview the book first, before you buy it. Plus, there's no lengthy app downloads and updates. Accessing the CBD Reader is as easy as going to cbdreader.christianbook.com and bookmarking the page. The CBD Reader holds your ebooks and bookmarks for you, no matter what device you're on. So, you can take your entire ebook library wherever you go and pick up right where you left off. Our customizable options make it possible to read your ebooks in different font sizes and styles. Want a large print version? You've got it in seconds with a simple click of the mouse. Already own a dedicated e-reader? Download your ebooks to your computer from your ChristianBook.com account and transfer them to your device. Try ebooks at ChristianBook.com and start reading your favorite books in seconds. Easy, economical, everywhere you want to read. Welcome to ChristianBook.com ebooks.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
Welcome to Lion Chasers, where faith and public policy intersect. And now, your Lion Chaser in the good fight of faith, Lonnie Poindexter, on Urban Family Talk.
You're not saying that there's not instances where there's maybe racial injustice somewhere. This is America, and people are human, and there's sin in the world. He's the president of first. He's the first president to say that America is not a Christian nation any longer. But, we'll pray for our enemies while we defeat them.
You can't blame folks for messing up the city. There has not been an elected Republican in council in Baltimore City in 50 years.
In the co-captain's chair with me today, Reverend Ralph Chittens.
What's happened is the social justice movement has now been hijacked by a godless movement.
Don't be bamboozled. Ladies and gentlemen, Frederick Douglass was a gun-toting conservative. It's not a black or white issue. It's a God versus anti-God issue. And I know those would say, well, it's all rigged. It's all a game, Lonnie. Because I get that a lot. And there are the crew that has their bags packed at the train station waiting for Jesus to come back. We'll be here in a minute. train went by, another train went by. No, it wasn't Jesus, but he's coming. Meanwhile, Rome is burning. The host of the Black Man Thinking radio show. Welcome to the show, Stanley Levy.
Good morning, Lonnie. How are you?
The core issues the bull elephants aren't in the home. We got to do away with the entitlement programs and the things that hamstring us.
And that's where the conservative viewpoints really resonate for my generation.
I'm going to welcome to the show the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, and that's my brother Kenneth McClinton. Welcome, brother.
Lonnie, it's an honor and privilege always to be with your ever-expanding audience.
Let your listeners be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. If Lion Chasers sounds right for your station or network, contact Will Addison by email, waddison@afa.net. Encourage your listeners to be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter and Urban Family Talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the most inspirational, influential, iconic, conservative program in America. Yeah, I'm not even limiting to urban anymore. That's world appeal, baby. We got world appeal. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then to the socialist. And of course, Mary, my bouncer, is in the chat room. And when she's in there, everything's all right with me. And if you diss her, you diss me, and you will be dismissed. So glad to have you all here. Also, who else is in that chat roll in there tonight? Everyone. I believe that's Claudia is in there tonight. Dave Milner is in there. God bless him. And BZ. BZ is in the hizzy this particular evening. Before we bring BZ on, I want to ask you also, since there's so many sponsored, affiliate groups that are with the Exceptional Conservative Show. One of them happens to be plussize.com. Now, plussize.com is a wonderful, wonderful place for women to go. For women to go, if you're not sure, ask your local biologist. But for women to go to get some of the most beautiful, vibrant and seductive and vivacious. I mean, these are beautiful dresses. And there's one dress that I took a look at, and since it's Christmas coming up, it's Christmas. I can make a mistake at Christmas. It can be taken back. But I think a woman should look very seductive and very appealing after she's been married for 18 years to her husband. I've tried this for 18 years. I'll see if it worked this year. But there is a dress up in there that I would love to buy my wife because it looks sexy. I just think it does at plussize.com. And there's so many other places on the front page. Amazon's on the front page and so many others. Pink Queen is on the front page. There's just a Pajama Mania is on the front page. There's so many Christmas gifts that you can get this year just from our front page. But I want you to take a... Thank you. Mary Brockman says, that leopard number is good. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Get it for your womanses. Because I'm going to try to slip it past my womanses. If after Christmas you still hear me on the air, then I was successful. But that's a hot number. Plussize.com. Go directly to the front page of the Exceptional Conservative Show. Click on there. Buy your wife. Before you buy her a dress, please go into her closet. Don't let her know you went in there. Because then you're going to be sitting there for about 3 or 4 hours with her getting on you about going into her personal effects, even though you're married. I don't understand that. But apparently, there's some type of rule, some law that's in the Constitution that I didn't read, but it's in there, that says that a man cannot go into a woman's closet or whatever. But whatever you do go into her closet, find out what her size is. Don't tell her size, because that's stupid. That means you're going to be there for another 3 hours. Figure out what her size is. Don't be measuring her in the bed while she's sleeping, because women never sleep. Whatever you do, don't do that. But find out what her size is. Go to plussize.com. And Carrie says, wow, it looks fantastic. That's what I'm talking about, Carrie. It's gorgeous. I think it's a gorgeous outfit. You know what I'm saying, baby? You know, yeah, baby. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, just in case the producer walks in by accident, you know, calm down. Dave says I should give Carrie that picky of me on a horse. That's what I'm talking about. Don't worry about it. 16 years. It's no difference. It's no difference in that. You know, I love that plus size. That's a beautiful dress. I would love to take my wife. We're going to a big concert in December. It's some gospel Christian group that's coming to town. Something Counting Crows, something or whatever. So we're supposed to be going to that. Celeste, glad to have you in the chat room tonight. We love you. So I'm just saying, Celeste, would you click on that link for plus size and tell me what you think? I know you're a woman of God and everything, but just click on that link. Tell me what you think, Celeste, and tell me if I'm a heathen. So I think it's a beautiful dress. The kind of dress you get your wife after all those years of marriage, and you know, take her to counting something. It's some group coming into they count when they sing. No, they got lots of big hits in Christian music, and so I'm supposed to actually supposed to take her there to that. I would love to take her in that dress. I think that's a beautiful dress. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we're calling my boy Busy. BZ. You know what I'm saying? BZ, the Bloviating Zeppelin. We're calling him right now. Good evening and welcome live from the Euro Pacific Bank Limited TECS chat room. Yours truly, the exceptional one. We introduce none other than BZ.
Well, good, extremely bright and massive moon evening to one and all.
Wait a minute. I need to put this in here. Real quick. This is to show you I am not a heathen. Okay? BZ, whatever you do, don't tell anyone that I'm a heathen. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that because you're the one who looks out for me when you go on the air with SHR on Wednesday nights. It is you who looks out for me.
Well, that's part of my job.
This is from Celeste, y'all. So I'm just saying, if y'all really want to shop and get your dresses on, get your look on, this is Celeste. Celeste says, I'm loving it. That is a hot number right there, sir. Thank you. I am not going to hell. That's a salacious number. Anyway, BZ, what's up? How you doing, sir?
Well, I am plus size, by the way. I just should like to point that out. I do, in fact, look fabulous in fishnet.
Yes, you do. And it was a great number that you put on while we were in Vegas. Keep up the good work.
Like I mentioned, though, with the thing, I tried to get the photo. You remember when I tried to get the photograph of me in the fishnet and then the chickens?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's a hell of a time. Have you ever tried to put hose on chickens? Like it.
Oh, only the Bloviating Zeppelin, Sir Mark. Oh my God. No, I've never tried.
It's too bad that since the last time we spoke, nothing has occurred in this country. Nothing at all.
You know, that's the sadness of our country. It is such a boring nation. Absolutely boring. Wow, I can't get over it. I do want to ask you, sir, didn't you pick Hillary Clinton to win, place, or show?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a fairly hard-fought race. I definitely have some thoughts about the future, but I think, quite frankly, it helped, and I'd be curious what you think about this. I think it helped for me to be involved with the election coverage over at the SHL Media Studio with Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. It was fascinating to look at all of that going on in real time, and it was absolutely gripping. But in retrospect, I never really thought about it until later. You know, Trump really was never behind at any point. But the interesting thing also is, and like I said, I'm curious what you think about it. I found it, almost relaxing to be there, although it was certainly tempestuous at times. But I found it very interesting to actually be there as it's occurring. And then you get a little bit of hope, and then you wonder, okay, where's this going? And he gained a bit of a role that never really stopped.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found it really fascinating. The other thing is, I think you did an absolutely stellar job with your comments from DC.
No, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Remember, any compliment is only worth 2/3 when it's given to me.
Not that they didn't say that.
We are talking with Sir Mark, the Bloviating Zeppelin, and you need to read his stuff at the bloviatingzeppelin.net. I said it earlier tonight that there is a brainwashing going on of our children by the liberal-leaning, progressive leftists. And if you were in El Salvador and someone called you a leftist, you would probably be carrying an M16 at the same time. That's a leftist. That's really what they are. And there's a picture of two black children holding a sign that says F you, Donald Trump. But it's spelled out. So literally there is a brainwashing going on with black children, especially in urban America, by their liberal parents and grandparents and great-grandparents who have frightened them into not critically thinking anything anymore. You just depend on government to take care of every thought that you have. Am I off base here anywhere, BZ?
I don't think so. I had two what I would consider very striking posts, one on Saturday and then one today. The one on Saturday, there's a video at the very top which I would recommend that everyone watch. But the corollary to that is that I believe you can only watch it once. It's the video where it indicates the mother punishes her son for supporting Donald Trump. And essentially what the kid did is he voted for Donald Trump in school. And the mother essentially packs his bag and sets him out on the front step. And the kid thinks she's serious, or perhaps she really is serious. I'm not sure. But that's the manic extent to which some people will go regarding this. It's absolutely insane. Now there's a meme building, courtesy of Michael Moore on the internet, that Trump should be impeached, except for two very important reasons. Number one, he's not installed. And number two, hello, Michael Moore, the House and the Senate and the White House are all owned by the Republicans. So good luck with that. But common sense doesn't mean a thing anymore. It is literally the insanity of leftists. That particular woman on the post on Saturday thought it would be really clever to videotape herself, and it was abuse as far as I'm concerned, abusing her little boy and kicking him out of the house. He's crying. He's pleading with his mother, begging her to let him stay. It's heartbreaking to watch some poor child put through this. And in the same particular post, there's 12. I mean, after a while, I just had to stop. Of all the indicators placed for everyone to see, including the United States Secret Service, here's one from Kalen Rahim. You clearly have a mission on Wednesday. Kill Donald Trump, from Bandit.
Wow.
Ally Shula. I would kill Donald Trump if I got the opportunity. From Forbidden. $60,000 to assassinate Donald Trump. Hit my direct message. from Tiana McHenry, someone, anyone, assassinate Trump and his offspring. I don't care if his tweets get me on the FBI watch list. I effing hate that man. Well, no, you won't be on the watch list, but the Secret Service. See, all of these things that I came across, by the way, guess where I forwarded them? Yes, that's right, the United States Secret Service. Weird Al Yankovic, drug cast. I have no pain in my heart or morality when I say, if Trump's elected, I will perform an assassination attempt on him, and that I will recede. Nakshon Rothstein, the perfect holiday gift, murder Donald Trump. Happy holidays. Ross Dutot, good news, guys. I figured out how the Trump campaign ends. And then he posts a movie about Dead Zone from the assassination attempt. Neri Mercury says, kill Trump immediately. Samir Kebab says, I will assassinate Donald Trump for free. Then there's the top of a Twitter post that has a cartoon, not very funny, really, of a dark-skinned man holding a revolver to the back of Donald Trump's head.
Wow.
Then there's Manisha Rajesh. It's about time for a presidential assassination. Mark O'Flaherty, ha ha ha, that's all we've talked about for the past hour. Kill Donald Trump. Now, this is someone that's actually logged into Twitter as Kill Donald Trump. Donald Trump should effing die. Anyone got any people? Go to his election and shoot him with a sniper. Anyone know of a person that can kill Donald Trump? I'd Caney Moore. If given the chance, I would kill Donald Trump and plead guilty to that S. Johnny, I want to murder Donald Trump. NLMB, I'm going to effing kill Donald Trump. Shape, I want to kill Donald Trump and cops. I want to torture the F out of them for being such bastards. Sad ho, can someone just take one for the team and kill Donald Trump? Clifton Webster, I'm voting for Donald Trump because I ain't never seen a president get assassinated.
Wow.
I could have gone on and on.
Wow.
And on with that. Quite frankly, Ken, I got tired of inserting photographs.
It just wears you out. The leftists are like that. We are talking with Sir Mark, the Bloviating Zeppelin. You need to go to the bloviatingzeppelin.net for all your fine reading and instruction on that which is as right-wing from a left mindset as you possibly can get. And there was the Rape Melania in Washington, D.C. sign this weekend. That just, I mean, wow! There's no line to this. There's no red line to any of this. This is exactly how they feel, and this is exactly what they want to do. And yet my Twitter has been suspended, and I've never said anything near what they've said. I've been suspended for over a year on Twitter. And someone actually has a Twitter account says kill Donald Trump.
Well, yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you doubt anything that I'm saying, all you have to do is go to the Saturday Post, and it's all there. Today's post is a series of videos that just continue to illustrate the leftists, the cowardly left. And I make a point with it. You mentioned that, there is a photo in today's post in front of the Trump International Hotel where someone is holding a sign that says Rape Melania. And it's not Photoshop, because if you look throughout the internet, you'll find a whole bunch of different shots from different angles of that person with that sign in front of the Trump International Hotel. So that's not Photoshop. That's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. Ladies and gentlemen, can you possibly feature what would have happened with the mainstream media had Mr. Obama, directly following his win, and being the president-elect, had anyone at all, color or not, held up a sign that the public could see, and it was photographed and carried on video, that said, Rape Michelle. What do you think would have happened? There would have been literally an investigation begun either by the NYPD, had that occurred in New York City, possibly the FBI, or even the DOJ. That would not have stood, and people think this is funny.
he probably would have had a visitation from the CIA. We would have never have heard from him again. My God!
There's graffiti scribbled all over monuments throughout the nation. Black power, the white supremacy, black power. Another one, we are coming, watch out. Another one, F white people. The one that you mentioned, where the two little black children are holding up a cardboard piece of paper that says F Donald Trump. It's insanity writ large, and it's not stopping, and no one is covering it. I've been looking at the media, and I have not seen photographs, a video of that particular individual holding up the sign about Melania. I don't see anybody covering information that indicates that George Soros, who is actually, in fact, behind this, is, in fact, behind this. It's interesting. Bill Maher came out. You know what Bill Maher is. He's a lefty of the first order. Democrats are saying, following the election, especially Bill Maher, that they should be ready for this. They should stop being so nice. Bill Maher said they were bringing knives to a gunfight. Well, apparently Maher hasn't been listening or monitoring the GOP and the Republicans, which is why the GOP and Republicans got Donald Trump in the first place. They were too compliant. They were too nice. They were interested in compromise and bipartisanship, except that compromise and bipartisanship, as you well know, Ken, always had to occur on the side of the GOP, never the Democrats. Well, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. That's the running mantra right now. The Democrats have to stop being so nice. That's called a clue. When you thought Democrats were being oppressive, they perceived it as being nice. Well, you know, then I have all sorts of photographs of the Democrats being just as nice.
Exactly.
At the same time, concurrently, all the GOP, the Republicans, Paul Ryan, all the rhinos, etc., were just shedding tears and fretting sweat about being liked. Well, here's the news flash. People enjoy you and they like you and they vote for you when you provide them with an unending flow of what I call free cheese.
Yes!
Free schools, free tuitions, hot and cold running abortions, and you never say the word no to them, because doing that is being judgmental. But people are still incredibly stupid. They think that free actually means free.
Yes! They do!
This is how insane it's actually been around the country, in colleges and universities. Here's again the cowardly reaction of leftists. The University of Michigan offered its traumatized students coloring books and Play-Doh. Well, no wonder they all have safety pins that they're wearing right now. They want safe spaces. The nice thing is that the safety pin on the front of their shirt can also double to hitch up that diaper under their pants.
You're exactly right.
Kansas reminded its stressed out kids that therapy dogs, a regular campus feature, were available. Cornell University, it's an Ivy League school, held a campus-wide cry-in with officials handing out tissues and hot chocolate to the babies. The university offered its devastated students arts and crafts sessions. Campuses from elite Yale to Connecticut, Iowa, all over the place. Professors canceled classes and exams because the students either asked them to, and you always have to do what the students ask, or because instructors themselves were too upset to instruct.
Oh my goodness.
It's insanity.
The actresses.
Writ large.
The actresses that came on television the following day with tears in their eyes, weeping and gnashing, as if this was a biblical prophecy of doom and gloom, and that their civil rights guarding their vagina were taken from them all of a sudden. It was an amazing feat to see. But I want to play this clip from your site, the bloviatingzeppelin.net. If you don't have it, it's probably because you ain't been thinking too well. So let me give it to you here in the chat roll, so you can click on and subscribe and listen to this, and be a part of a great writer of political and literal thought in America, Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to play for you Van Jones. Just sit back and relax because he's going to keep it real.
Race was a part, and there was a part, that alt-right part, that was a part of a white lash. And if you listen to the whole quote, you would agree with what I said. So I don't take that back.
I did listen to it. And then you said, what do I tell the kids? What I would tell your kids, I'm a black man in America who went to Yale, who's written books, who served a president.
And I'm a ninth-generation American, ma'am, and I'm the first one in my family born with all my rights. I'm a ninth-generation American. And so we have not escaped because I went to Yale.
You should not be a racial polemicist. You should be a racial reconciler.
To say that to me to my face. I've spent more time in this country.
Would I say it behind your back would be better?
Hold on a second. I spent more time than you have trying to be a racial reconciler in this country.
Really? How do you know that? Do you know anything about me?
Well, you apparently don't know anything about me.
Yes, I do know. Your daddy, your grandparents were teachers. Your grandfather was a bishop.
George, this is the problem that we have right now. It is in fact the case that there was a populist revolt in this country. Race was a part.
Racism. She lost, not because she had a major FBI investigation or four of them, I think 4 or 5 of them against her. Not because she said open borders and let Wall Street do what it wants to do. Not because her assistant, her valet, Huma Abedin, was giving away classified information to her unqualified husband on a computer. Not because of any of that stuff. Not because she even talked about raising the estate tax 65%. None of that stuff. It was because she's white. Yep. That's why she lost.
Well, the funny thing about that particular clip specifically is that Van Jones says, you don't know anything about me. And then she begins to spout off all the information about him, his mother, his father. So obviously she knows nothing about him. And then he disavows that and moves on. It's insanity writ large. I'm sure you've probably heard that Chief Beck in Los Angeles says that he's not going to deport illegals, that it's a sanctuary city. Rahm Emanuel has said that Chicago will always be a sanctuary city.
And that it's safe. Chicago is safe, according to Rahm Emanuel. That's what he said.
Of course it is.
I don't think I'm spending my vacation in Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. We're going to our last commercials for the evening. When we come back, we want to talk about the cowards. No. Not the Trump's family. No. I know they're cowards because they won the election. Let's talk about some real cowards, those who are willing to turn over a police car to get your attention. We'll be right back with more of the best in urban conservative talk right after these wonderful messages.
Audio Jungle.
With home values up and interest rates near all-time lows, you probably know that now is a great time to refinance, like the Johnsons, who saved $436 a month.
$436 a month?
It's simple. Just go to LendingTree.com, compare loan offers for free, and see how much you could save in just 5 minutes.
I thought you said the bank gave you the best rate.
Yeah.
Lending Tree. When banks compete, you win.
I have to do everything myself.
Want to know the best kept secret in flea and tick control? It's the money you'll save with 1-800-PET-MEDS. Save 30, 40, even 50% on veterinary recommended brands for your pet, and we'll deliver them free right to your door. And now you can get the safe and effective results of a top brand for even less with new Flea for X Plus. 4-way action to kill fleas, ticks, lice, and mosquitoes. Plus, it starts working in 5 minutes to 1 hour and is backed by our 100% happy guarantee. Call now or order online from 1-800-PET-MEDS.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Hi everybody, it's Kristen. I'm here to review women's spirits made by dogs. I love these shoes. I am an FM sufferer, so finding shoes that don't make my feet hurt
is very tough. These don't make my feet hurt. I've tried Pumas, I've tried Nikes. Nikes are pretty good. Pumas I can't wear. They hurt my feet too much. I mean, it's to the point to where my feet hurt so bad to where I can't even walk. So I was so happy whenever I was contacted to review the new dogs. I love these dogs. I love these things. My feet don't hurt when I wear them. They got the holes in them to keep my feet cool. They got massaging bumpies inside. Feels like you're walking on little things of foam. I mean, like, it's just awesome. I just love it. The heel is a deep well down in your heel, and it protects. It's a shock absorber. So if you're running in them or jumping in them, like if you're on a trail and you have to jump in them, it absorbs the shock. What else? And then it's a higher thing back here for your heel. So it's like a really high thing that protects your ankle from when you're running, so there's no injuries, so it doesn't cause injuries. It's Velcro, so it's very easy to tighten your shoe, so whenever you're running, your shoe won't fall off when you're trying to run. I love these shoes, and I hope you guys really appreciate this review, and there will be pictures at the end, like always. But I wish you would guys go check them out. They're only, these women's spirits are $40. There's a whole bunch of other kind of shoes that you can purchase as well. There are children's shoes, toddler shoes, infant shoes, men's shoes, women's shoes. Anything you can think of, they got it. And they're pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Ah, yeah! This is the non-commercial section of the Exceptional Conservative Show. Tomorrow night, 9-10 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be talking with Eric Lee, an overseas citizen on Europe. He's from Germany, or at least he lives in Germany as an American citizen. We're going to have a fun time. Resistance is futile. Ow! Rock my soul! Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking tonight with none other than the great mind. At least this is what he tells me. The great mind on Wednesday night behind Sackheads Radio. No, it's not Sackhead Sean. No, it's not Sackhead Clint. It is Sir Mark, the Bloviating Zeppelin of the bloviatingzeppelin.net. It's a great pleasure to have you on the air with us tonight, sir.
You again are so that I'm going to have to do my very best to make sure that they don't hear this at all. I don't know if I can possibly pull that off. By the way, your show tomorrow, the guy from Germany,
yes,
that should be a wonderful insight as to what's actually occurring in Germany right now. Everybody needs to listen to that show. I would love to hear what he's going to say.
You know, there are so many people in America that believe that Angela Merkel is absolutely safe, that she will be greeting Donald J. Trump at the next Super Six meeting in the summer. Boy, y'all should tune in tomorrow. Things are happening in Europe that you won't believe. You won't believe. A lot of these liberals will not be in power. I will assure you. And people are they're upset. BZ, they really are. They're terribly upset about how far to the left they've been thrown. They never expected this.
Well, here's sort of an inkling, and I'm going to be curious if this particular person tomorrow night mentions it. The EU from Brussels issued a mandatory meeting of all EU states to decide what they're going to do with regard to Trump and the future of the EU. I think it's incredibly telling that there are going to be two nations not present. They decided they're not going. One of them is Germany, the other one is France. I'd say this doesn't sound real good about the EU. You know, you and I and Dave Milner and whatnot, we know what happened in the EU. We know about Brexit. We know about the removal of sovereignty by way of the EU in Brussels by people that were not elected, that were simply appointed, and they get to sit from on high and make directions that all of the EU nation states have to abide by. It's tyranny, nothing more, nothing less. What occurred with Brexit in EU, a sort of a popular outrising or revolt, if you will, is the exact same thing that's beginning here. And the leftist elites hate it. They absolutely hate it. And they must put it down like a bad, foaming dog as quickly as they possibly can. They might not be able to pull that off. They might not find that in, say, a year from now, the EU looks much the same. I don't think it really will. Already on our side, for example, border agents, because they can see the writing on the wall. When I went to FLETC, that's the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. It's over in Brunswick, Georgia. That's where Border Patrol agents are trained. They can't wait to do their job. They foam at the mouth to do their job because that's what they were hired for. They've been waiting for at least 8 years to have the chains of their oppression removed. And already apprehensions are going up. Border agents are ignoring Obama directives. It's starting. The tide is starting actually to turn at this point.
Exactly. And you mentioned France, and there are a lot of people who don't understand. And I'm going to have, as we're expanding our audience in Europe and around the world, and I want to thank all the people of Germany, the Ukraine, Italy, France, Great Britain, and all in Moscow. In fact, even the Russians are tuning in and listening to this program. I want to thank you all. But a lot of people don't really know what's going on over there. They only read what's in the New York Times, and even the New York Times has to apologize for being biased, even though it won't stop being biased. But there is rumor that there is a groundswell of support for a conservative to lead France, which would not have happened since World War II if a conservative becomes the leader of France. And that's in the next election. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on in Europe that Americans are not told of, but they're told every single day that we should be like Europe.
Well, Hollande is a socialist. He's pretty much an avowed socialist. But just as Hillary Clinton said that, you have to have two viewpoints, your public viewpoint and your private viewpoint. What happened to Hollande recently is he released a book indicating that, yes, he's a socialist at one hand publicly, but privately he seems to think that Muslims and Islam are destroying his nation. When people have bombs that go off and they kill people in various places in France and in the United States, folks tend to take that a bit personally. Hollande is starting to go down. Angela Merkel is starting to go down. I can tell you quite frankly, Angela Merkel is a product of World War II. The Germans carry a massive amount of guilt with regard to what they literally did to the world in World War II. And the citizens that backed Adolf Hitler, they really didn't have much of a choice. They were stunned because they listened to the propaganda of the Hitler machine. And when Bergen, when Dachau, when the various concentration camps were opened up and the citizens of the surrounding towns and cities were corralled by United States soldiers, and they were frog-marched essentially into these camps to look and see and witness what these camps had done to the Jews and how many millions of people there were that were dead, naked. They 30 feet high, like cordwood, like the detritus, like things that you would kick to the side. They weren't human beings as far as the Nazis were concerned. And the people of Germany were staggered, as rightly they should have been. Then the U.S. soldiers insisted that the people in the surrounding towns be the ones to transport those people, the dead Jews, into mass graves. The Jews whose forearms and their wrists were tattered with numbers, because that's all they were. They were a number to be herded like cattle to the slaughter, and they were. And then they were buried. They were buried by the German citizens who believed the bullshit that was given to them by Hitler.
Bingo.
This is where she came from.
Yep.
So out of the goodness of her heart, misguided as it was, I think she thought she was actually doing the right thing, when in fact, she was opening the doors to the vipers that can't wait to come in and bite all of the citizens of the EU. And yet here in the States, insulated as we are by the entire Atlantic Ocean, Hillary would have continued the policies of Barack Hussein Obama and continued to bring people, purposely importing Syrians who are 99% Muslim into the United States. Less than 1% are Christian. And when was the last time, ladies and gentlemen, that you heard a person, say a Catholic, blow himself up in the name of Catholicism around the world? Because you know what would happen if that were a beginning trend. You'd have Catholic churches burnt to the ground. You'd have assaults on the Vatican. And because it's Islam, we somehow miraculously forgive them.
You know what?
Time for the gloves to be off. The gloves cannot be on anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Maher told us the gloves are off.
Exactly. BZ, this is amazing because I'm going to give y'all some insight for tomorrow night's show. What BZ just said is what's happening in Europe. Theresa May is not an accident in Great Britain. What Ireland is doing with its tax reform is not an accident. They are becoming more conservative every single day, which is why some of my largest audiences come from Great Britain, France, Germany, Ukraine. Why? Because they don't want to be under that liberal leftist regime thinking anymore. They want to be free, absolutely free. And what's happening in Germany, one of the fastest growing groups, they made me an editor of it a couple of weeks ago, is the Germany Overseas group, Republicans. And people in Germany and Austria and others, they are finding conservatives as best they possibly can to invigorate them and to give them a message that they can give their own people. What happened here, forgive me, is not a surprise to the people of Europe. The real people of Europe was what the problem for them is. My God, what took y'all so long?
Well, there's a reason that Nigel Farage took his photograph with Donald Trump. They are both essentially of like minds. When you continue with what's going on, if you were to continue with what's going on in Europe right now, these are nation states that are losing their sovereignty. They are watching people that have come in, that have purposely been trucked and trained and walked in to the nation, to their nation, given priority over people that are actual citizens of that nation. And they're actually beginning to discover that this is absolutely wrong. This is our nation, our culture, our language. We have a history, and we don't want that history turned upside down. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There's nothing wrong with keeping your history, your culture, your language. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. And only a moron would degrade a nation state to the point that it's going to reflect nothing more than the nation from where the people are running. You want the United States to look like Mexico? Fine, don't do anything about the borders. You want Europe to look like Somalia or Nigeria or Northern Africa or the Middle East. Don't do anything about your borders, and you won't have to worry about it anymore. And then you'll be tripping the light fantastic 5 times as you genuflect toward Mecca on your little
Good luck with that. Ladies and gentlemen, Bloviating, Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin, we call him BZ, and I jest with him regarding his role with SHR Media on Wednesday nights with Saki and Shaw, Saki and Clip, but really, I don't jest with him when it comes to his writing. He is a brilliant author. His commentary is prescient and in line with the moment that we have today, which means actually is the same meaning of prescient. But
thank you ever so kindly, Ken. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, sir. And then once again, people, do go to bloviatingzeppelin.net. When he comes back next week, we're going to talk a whole lot more about the things that are happening around the world so that you might be cognizant, and that those people in Europe and in Africa and in Asia who are listening to this program, and Australia, you're listening to this program on the down low. I know you are, because I see the numbers. And what I'm saying to you is, don't be ashamed of the good news of conservatism. You might be able to liberate a whole lot of people. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to read to you very quickly the first couple of paragraphs of the essay that I wrote. You will be able to find it, I believe, on SHR tomorrow morning, and if not, Hot Plains Pundit Media as well. If not, both, either or, however way they do it. But this essay has become one of the most popular essays I've ever written. And it's about that young man who was made prostrate before his mother in terms of his vote for Donald Trump. And I just want to read to you a few of the paragraphs. And you don't mind hanging on the line for a little bit there, BZ. I can't get to the thing to knock you off or whatever.
Oh, so now I need to be knocked off. Okay, got it.
No, it's not like that!
Ken, thanks for having me on. You take care, sir.
You take care. God bless you, man.
All right, God bless you, sir.
Oh, you can tell family. You can tell family. All right. And these words, which I command thee this day, shall be in thine heart, and thine shall teach them diligently unto thy children, and shall talk of them when thou sittest in the house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. That's Deuteronomy 6:6-7, King James Version of the Holy Bible. And what I'm going to read to you is portions of cultural inhumanity. The absolute rule of state requires the abuse of man, woman, and child. The unfortunate thing, ladies and gentlemen, is child abuse is being used as a tool of brainwashing in our community. And the unfortunate thing about that is we watch a generation of children die to themselves, and generations to come die because they don't have the freedom of critical thinking. I began. His face was torn, tears prevailing upon his cheeks, the voice from on high berating him for a decision made much earlier in the day. He stood before the image of the Most High God, his mother, and received a condemnation that not even hell's fury would relay upon the den of murderers, rapists, and thieves assembled in the day of last judgment. His soul was crushed as his mother offered the fiery retort due his unholy pursuit of intellectual independence and electoral sovereignty. Oh, how mighty his sin before all mankind. The mark of Cain upon him, his mother opens the door and rips him from his home, known unto him as his place of comfort, solace, and security. He shall travel the earth as the evil one that spilled innocent blood upon the nation by choosing a fiend, an enemy, a modern Mephistopheles, and that Mephi guy. That's his executive choice in the witness of his better received peers. He and his little brother, one seeking only the harmony of mother and son, yet condemned, as if selecting the adversary over her, found utter rejection as the door slammed upon them in the night. They shall suffer the hostilities and imaginations of the night rather than share her abode. They, allied with the Prince of Darkness, shall enjoy the charm of a cold night as their due misery for prevailing in public against a compassionate matron. Never will they choose again a political rogue over a bureaucratic darling. Never again the party of oppression, bigotry, and hate over the party that cares for the vibrancy of home and prosperity of community. He will be broken as he stood next to his pink and black luggage, witnessing the wailing and dismay of his younger brother. Confused and seeking vindication, he would do anything to have his mother's kisses upon his forehead, her soft words stroke his soul, her arms embrace him in welcome, her protection from the night. What had this elementary school boy done that would separate him from the love of his mother? He voted for Donald J. Trump in a mock classroom election. The other depravity of this woman is as bold as the black print upon this white page. A video, now witnessed by over 12 million persons around the world, graced my Facebook inbox on Veterans Day morning. I watched it once. Then I watched it again. My tears turned to incensed anger. I summoned my wife from the warm comforts of her chamber into my office to witness what my eyes observed, but my soul refused to let me fully see. We witnessed. Set upon Facebook's Michelle Obama for 2020, we eyed a presentation of brutality and assault upon a child that seemed to pierce the standards of cruelty set by dictators and despots. Our mouths widened as if preparing for a helping of Thanksgiving stuffing. Our eyes did not fail us. We witnessed a brutishness of speech that had only been manifested in the boxing rings of Las Vegas' Caesar's Palace. With villainous premeditation, she set to publicly shame her son for choosing the grand old party, GOP, presidential election candidate Donald John Trump over Hillary Rodham Clinton, by asking the elementary student to vacate her premises. Her vileness would not go without unceasing taunt and intolerable indignation. This would be her teachable moment. Carpe noctem, seize the night. The young lad was as tolerable and honoring of his mother as any godly child could be. As undeserving as she was in that moment, arrogantly filming her judicial exercise of public shame upon her child, he warranted the favor of God. He respectfully referred to her as Mom. Alerted by someone via his public school, Mom had packed his luggage at 10:30 a.m. on the morning of the mock classroom election. Mom was so enraged and embarrassed by her son's aversion from his home training to always choose the Democrat, to always pursue the liberal course in life, and to always remember that your blackness is defined more by your political allegiance than the color of your skin, that she chose to verbally lynch her very son. In the 2016 presidential general election, 88% of blacks voted for Hillary Rodham Clinton versus 65% of Hispanics and Asians and 37% of whites. Voting GOP is a white thing. What a curse amongst men. It was a vital matter to resolve in his youth. If he grew up to be a black conservative, he would be ridiculed for life, not have access to family, friends, or special relationships, and employment with black firms would be impossible. Her sons would be doomed if they accepted these foreign ideals. What unfortunate existences they would have. Before mankind, he needed to learn his lesson to survive his culture, and that she might remain revered in her social community. This was a greater damnation than selling drugs or prostituting. Her sons must be saved. Imagine if Uncle Muhammad had learned that her very son had betrayed the race. There may be no family vacations or intimate gatherings or even Thanksgiving or Christmas dinners. Imagine if the ladies at the salon, through the testimony of their children, had knowledge of her son's revolt. Could she even go back? Imagine cousin Ray Ray working behind the counter at McDonald's. Would she spit in my drink? Imagine if the children at school would taunt him for his decision. My mom would have to save him from the wolves that she aggrieve him. Her culture is built upon the framework of absolute faithfulness to the progressive movement. To deny the culture is to embrace doom. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the opportunity of reading that at Voice of Liberty. And I also thank you for tuning in tonight, live from the nation's capital, where we are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it's the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then to the socialist. Want you always to remember, if you don't remember anything else I said tonight, God bless America. It is now time for America to bless God. We'll see you tomorrow night.
All right, come on. Baby. All right.